I need more coffee.
Alright, yeah, get some more coffee and we'll go from there. I'm behind the scenes person. Alright, so we're obviously a few minutes late tonight, and that's okay because that's the whole thing about being in social media, right? Social media arrives right when it's supposed to arrive, at the right time, always. Or it just kind of sits on your wall, and when you want it, it's there, and that's kind of what we're doing. So welcome to Udicci.TV. We're still sitting back here, still have the angled set from last week, but there has been a lot of progress behind the scenes here that you haven't seen. And hopefully you're planning on coming out to the grand opening event on April 3rd. I know that I have it in here, and we've got a whole bunch of other things that are going on that we'll be talking about tonight. But tonight, if you've been following us online, you know that Tess couldn't make it out. And okay, now I hear myself in the background. Tim didn't turn the preview off. So right now I actually hear myself talking.
Oh, it's that.
Yep, I did say that. That is me, certainly. Okay, so anyways, what's wrong, Tim?
I don't know where it's coming from. Hold on.
Tim doesn't know where the sound is coming from. That doesn't, if you're out there in YouTube land right now and you hear me repeating myself twice, it's because Tim didn't turn the preview off. Tim's trying to figure out where the preview is. And that's cool, Because tonight Tim's going to be doing two things at once. He is going to be acting as production engineer and co-host. Watch him pull it off. I don't know how that's going to happen. So anyways, tonight Tess couldn't be with us. She was, out doing the test kind of thing, which means, taking care of the world, conquering the world, setting the world on fire, and making her business move forward. And she decided tonight that making her business move forward was more important than showing up to Udicci.TV with me. And I'm pretty sad about that. And she said she's watching, so I'm thinking right now she's probably, rolling her eyes. If you've ever seen her, you know that she's rolling her eyes. Anyways, Tim, are you going to sit back there? You know what? We're going to bring up a new guest. We're going to bring up a new guest, and he has no idea what he's doing here. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
All right, come on up. Come on up.
What would you like me to say?
I don't know. You can sit here. Why don't you sit here? Why don't you sit here? I think we've got this thing here. Chris, and again, give me your last name again.
Joyle.
Joyle?
Yep.
Chris Joyle. So Chris has been really wanting to get on for, months now. We keep getting email after email saying, please, I have something I have to say to the world. So, go ahead.
I'm addicted to Clash of Clans.
What is that?
It's a game on your iPhone or your Android or whatever device you have.
Classical?
Clash of Clans.
Clash of Clans. I've seen that one advertised online. Wait, is that the one with the one model? She's like some queen and...
No, that's a little risque.
That's risque.
We're more like cartoon characters in our family.
So your cartoon characters just kind of like kill each other?
Exactly.
They beat each other up?
Yeah.
That's not risque.
No.
Cartoon characters. Alright, well you may be interested in our next door neighbor over here. He actually creates pipe cleaners, and the heads come off and the arms come off, and it's an entire board game that they play. It's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, but you got to move around and you beat each other up, and just at the right time you have to pull your head off. I don't know what to say. Is that like Clash of the Clans?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. Well, if you haven't come out on a First Friday, you should come out on a First Friday and check out the, what does he call it? It's the bloodiest board game.
Sounds good.
It's great. It's actually kind of funny. Carly's waiting on a patent to put this kind of game out. It's like a D&D type thing. And he actually creates all these characters next door. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. So Clash of the Clans, and you're addicted to it.
Yeah.
Do you have a character name in there?
Oh, yes. I'm dad in one game, and I actually play on 2 devices.
Okay.
I actually will play my son, so I could have 3 devices at once, so I'm playing all 3. I'm Monarch King in one, and I'm Dad in the other.
Wait, you're Monarch King?
Monarch King.
Monarch King, like as in Monarch and King, like wow, this person is really wild? Or more like Butterfly King?
No. Badass King. Oh, can I swear? I'm sorry.
I don't know, that's a little risque.
Yeah. Yep.
And
So-
we'll do the plan.
So not butterfly king. You're talking like you're a really badass king. But what's dad?
What's that? That's just, I'm dad. I didn't know I was going to get that name forever, so I just put in a name, and all of a sudden now I can't get rid of it, can't change it, can't update it.
That's a good name. Dad's a good name.
I'm dad.
That's a good name. And what do you do as dad in Clash of the Clans?
I try to teach my son not to make the bad decisions. It's actually a cool game because it's all
Okay.
about return on investment.
Really?
Oh yes, there's a business model in the game
Okay.
that I've learned. Actually, I learned this from a retired school teacher from Webster. And one day I found out, I joined this clan and it's called Rochester, New York.
Okay, now I can start playing Clash of the Clans. Hold on.
So I joined this clan and we start chatting because you can chat while you're playing. And Jimmy comes on and we start talking. He's like, "Oh, I live in Webster." I'm like, "I live in Webster." He's like, "I taught there. I'm retired." And I said, "This guy pulling my leg." And he's like, "No." He goes, "I'm down at the Burger King." So I just go, "Okay, I'm going to come down there." So I kind of called him out. I go down there and he's there. And it's like me running into my dad with like 4 of his friends are all sitting at a table at Burger King having coffee and they're just shooting
But they're playing the game.
well, he is. The
Oh,
other,
oh,
the other
okay.
4 of his friends, they think he's crazy because he's got an iPad and that's just foreign to them.
Okay.
Because Jimmy's 74.
So is Jimmy
And I love Jimmy because he's up with technology, he's older, but he's rolling with it, you know?
So you're the Monarch King. Is Jimmy the Burger King?
So,
Oh, he's not. Okay.
Jimmy is the ruler of the clan, and Jimmy will kick you out of the clan like that.
And what's the name of this clan?
Our clan is called Rochester.
Oh, okay.
New York,
Oh,
too.
that's his.
That's what they call
Oh,
it.
so he rules that
He
clan.
rules the clan.
He's a clan ruler. I
Yes.
like this. So tell me about the business side of this game.
The business side is that there's, well, it's funny, he taught me how to play. Basically, you have to make gold and you have to make elixir. That's how you buy things in the game. That's how you upgrade your troops to conquer enemies. Well, I always thought you just had to sit around and wait. And he's just like, no. He's like, you don't do that. You just go out and attack other people and take their stuff. Well, there's a whole business model to that because to build troops to attack other people, you have to spend money in the game, virtual money.
Okay.
So what you want to do is build the cheapest amount and go attack people and get the most, right? Return on investment. If I spend...
So if we attack, pillage, plunder, as cheaply as possible,
Yes.
you win this game.
Well, yes. You
And that's the wisdom you teach, Dad.
I try to teach my son, I'm like, build this.
Build this as cheaply as possible so that you can tear apart other civilizations and take their money. All right. I like where this is going. Clash of the Clans with Chris Joyle. Only at Rochester Clan?
Oh, Rochester, New York, too.
Rochester, New York, too, if you're on there. So make sure that anybody can join, right?
No. They can try to join. They can.
And they can request permission to be
Yes.
part of the,
Then they go through a whole process where Jimmy looks at their profile, determines if they're worthy.
I would suggest a name change, something like Plunder and Profit. Actually, it sounds really kind of cool. So you gotta get the gold. So can we actually use real bitcoins to buy stuff to like amp our way forward? So if we come into this with more money than say the Monarch King, can we buy our way forward?
You actually can, which I strongly have tried to not spend money on this game, but you can.
But once somebody comes in and starts like coming after the Monarch King, and the only way they're getting ahead of the Monarch King is because they're spending money, you know what's gonna happen?
They're going to go and buy an iTunes card.
And you're gonna end up buying an iTunes card. That sounds like a
I've already
business
asked
model
for
to me.
Father's Day, I already have on the request, I want an iTunes card so I can get something special for the game because I don't want to spend my money on it.
For Clash of Clans. Actually, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think that sounds really cool. So, how much of it is an animated game, whereas like you actually have to move through? It's like a journey game. What do they call those?
It's not much like that. It's funny because the game is really more like a tower game where you make a village and you basically upbring stuff to make it stronger.
Okay.
So people try to attack it. It's almost like it's totally two-dimensional.
Okay.
But the most fun part is just the camaraderie of the clan and people joking around and messing with each other all day. Like everybody, we all love Jimmy. Jimmy's fun.
Does Jimmy have like really tall towers?
Jimmy's got the best troops.
He's got the best troops. That is cool though. I get it. And so he actually has created his own character, his own persona for that
Yes.
character.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Right. So you actually don't have to be your real self. You get to be, you know, somebody maybe like your alter ego. Yeah. So
It's true.
So who would be your alter ego? Is Dad your alter ego, or is it the Monarch King?
Oh, Monarchy.
Monarch King's your alter ego. Mine would be Axl Rose.
Jim Morrison would be mine. I love Jim.
Okay, there you go. Axl Rose just like he was the epitome of excess, and then there was it. What's that?
That's a
Jimi
shame.
Hendrix. That'd be your alter ego. I just don't see it. I just don't see that. Your alter ego. Narrator's back there saying Jimi Hendrix is my alter ego. Like, yeah, the guy who was willing to get up in front of Woodstock and just lay down this Star-Spangled Banner to the entire world, and we've got Narrator who will not come in front of a
But your
camera.
alter ego should be someone who does things you would never do.
Like get in front of the camera?
Exactly.
All right, so come on and we'll play Jimmy tonight. Yeah.
Put some music on, do a little air guitar.
Never.
So who did you say yours was again?
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison.
I like
Okay.
Although now I think about it, I sing all the time, so that's not a surprise. My son hates my singing.
I think there's a lot of our alter ego in there, right? I mean, it's just kind of like.
I would never
guess is-
sing in front of other people, that's it.
He's more of a Taylor Swift these days.
What's that?
Did you see the video with the police officer
Taylor
singing
Swift.
the Taylor
Yes.
Swift? That was the best.
I have not seen that one.
Oh, it's awesome. It went viral.
Yeah.
He's sitting there in his car and he's just bebopping to, forgetting the name of the song.
I don't remember.
Player's gonna play. I'm forgetting the name.
Can you
Shake It Off.
Oh, can you do that song for us?
No.
No. Okay.
I
Ernest is over here going like, no, please don't call me.
Don't
on the
call
camera. It's like I'm not coming. You will. I'll get there after narrating.
His alter ego is the Invisible Man.
One of our prime times from last year was when Narita had kind of found us, and we love Narita because she was literally one of the first people in Rochester to find us on YouTube. And she started kind of like following what was going on, and she figured out where we were, and she ended up knowing a couple of people who were involved, and she got down and she came over and saw us out at Blue Barn Grill, and she would never come on camera, never come on camera. And then one night, apparently she was out with us, and whatever happened, I would probably say it had something to do with shots and beer. But outside of that, I'm not certain it was that, but Tag, who's another big guy, I think, he got her up in front of the camera, and it was prime social media. For those of you who haven't watched that, go back and watch Narita on camera, then go play Clash of Clowns. All right, so let's go to break for just a moment, and then we'll come back from there. That was easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Next time I'll come.
Hey, let's-
You want to get him up, you just got to start talking nerd stuff.
What kind of nerd stuff?
Finish this part.
You can either
All right.
Oh, your help?
Yes. No.
No.
This guy's gonna eat, and I might eat with him.
Oh, you're taking off? I was
Okay.
going to do another segment with you and Tim. Come on.
All right. How about just let them do a segment? Let the two of them do a segment on technology.
Go ahead.
All right. You guys. You good?
You better help. This guy eats more than
You
me.
can add from off camera. How's that?
I'm more of a platform.
I wasn't here. I was here,
Come
but I
on.
wasn't
All right.
here.
You get over there. You guys
Platform
figure it out,
as a
right?
service, baby. Come on.
Platform
We should-
as a service. Gotcha.
That's what you got. I don't know if I can classify it.
Just keep your eye on that.
And you can tell when this actually leaves, that actually.
You're right now. Hi, nice to meet you.
I worked with Tim, that's. I
Oh,
worked with him a couple,
he gets everybody in.
it's almost 2 years ago.
I need water though,
All
man.
right. You need water?
My brain's about ready to bug out. All this caffeine and I haven't eaten yet.
You want a piece of jerky?
No, I'm good. We're gonna get something to eat.
All right.
All right. Hold on. I guess.
You guys got a new co-host, look at that.
We are back, and
Now
we
you
are
got to
back.
get
And be talking about, I don't know what they're talking about, but you know what? I'm liking the new co-host. I'm liking the looks up there.
Oh man.
Fire away.
Hey, I'm back on camera. Welcome back, Udicci. So, Chris, you made a comment just a minute ago, and I want to explore that a little bit. You said you're more of a platform guy. Explain. So we're going to go into a technology segment. As, yeah, we're going to jump off because we've actually had technology conversations prior to this. We're a social business, as you've kind of discovered. Probably weren't quite expecting this tonight. So
I'm totally surprised.
welcome, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to social media. Yeah. So we consider ourselves a social business. So as part of our social business, we're actually talking technology because we are under all of this glamour that's around us as a technology startup. And one of the things you made a comment about is the platform. So I want to kind of explore in layman's terms for people that might not understand platform versus technology as a whole. How would you explain that?
It's changed the way that businesses do their business, period.
Right.
Especially IT. It's hard to explain in layman's terms. It's a way to basically not cut jobs, but make people's lives easier, make IT's lives easier.
Make life more efficient.
Instead of somebody having to worry about the data center and the machines and the upgrades and all that stuff, don't need to.
Right.
You basically, you rent your platform, for lack of a better word.
Right.
So
The benefits of that lead to more efficiency because you're not having to reinvent the wheel at that point.
oh yeah.
I mean, you can start doing all these plugins from different pieces, and every platform has their own advantages and disadvantages. But you have a lot of things. What are some of the more common platforms that you use?
I actually support a platform called ServiceNow.
Okay.
It's a cloud-based platform. That's my favorite part of it is if it's online, it's cloud-based, you can get it anywhere, anytime. At first, I think about maybe 10 years ago, people were afraid to, cloud was the scary word.
Right.
But now that's just the way life is. Data's up there.
Yep.
Now you access it. When I first started, everybody had their own servers, their own this, their own that. I did a lot of development using Lotus Notes and stuff like that.
Lotus Notes.
Oh yeah.
They still work.
Yeah. No. So I was doing that. That paid the bills while I was doing J2E stuff online.
Okay.
And you could just see the benefits. I'm like, as I started doing more web development, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then the shift became, well, why would I want to maintain all these machines when I can just basically let
Shift
somebody
that off.
else do it for me?
Yep.
And all I have to do is basically log in and I'm in business. And that's the
Right.
part I love about ServiceNow. Actually, it's an awesome platform, It just allows people to do their business.
Sure.
If I want to create an app, it's kind of very much like Udicci,
Right.
where you can just build whatever application I want, and I
Yep.
can distribute it to everybody.
Right.
All they need is a login.
Now, do they have a common data structure underneath, or are they using object-oriented databases? Are they using more flat databases like the new NoSQL databases?
I think it's more of an object-oriented approach
Okay.
because they extend a lot of tables, like you extend classes.
Right,
So they'll have like a base table, and then you can extend that out, which is pretty cool.
right,
So
okay,
you inherit all kinds of, like, you inherit functionality as you extend a table out.
okay.
So it's very, I love it. You know,
Okay.
it's pretty fun.
How long you been working with it?
Like 3 years now.
Nice, okay.
So it was a big leap of faith because I'm so used to writing my own calls to the back end. I write my own SQL, write my own pages.
Right.
Then I went to like, okay, the only thing I really get my hands on is JavaScript,
Right,
where I can access the back end via that.
yep,
So it's,
okay.
I had to give up a little control.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of where I was going in that way, is because I think a lot of companies now, one that Ernest and I know very well, that they get stuck in their own ways because, no, we have to control this, we have to keep it under our roof. And in technology, now, if you're not moving at the speed of technology, you're falling behind very, very quickly. And if you're not able to keep up, the only way to keep up is not having to keep reinventing the wheel and start utilizing what other people are using to be able to kind of pull all that stuff together. And I think that, you know, a lot of companies get caught in the paradigm of, well, it's always been done this way. And technology is not this way, it's going in this way. So that's why I wanted to kind of touch on the platform, is there's a lot of them out there. Force.com, you know, which is Salesforce tool. You got a lot of these that are out there already. And,
Dynamics,
you know,
by
very,
Microsoft.
yes, exactly. And I mean, they were trying to go that way with the, not Silverlight, but what's the platform they build on Silverlight? Oh, goodness gracious. It's actually a Microsoft thing that they do the generation of code and everything. It ties to the web API stuff. So it's built on Silverlight, but then they shelved Silverlight. So, but Microsoft Dynamics is another one. ERP, you know, any of these systems that are out there that allow you to kind of branch off into these different things and not have to keep reinventing the wheel. I think that's what small business needs to understand, is that there are those types of things out there that they may not necessarily be aware of. So, agree?
Stephen,
Okay.
I was just thinking about how I like how it's flexible. That's probably my favorite thing.
Yes.
One of my favorite apps is actually Microsoft's OneNote.
Yep. Yep.
I use it every day at work, and I put in my notes. But I get home, I can access it on my phone, my iPad, anywhere I go, it's there.
Right.
That's the key to when you outsource a platform, you should be able to get it from multiple devices anytime you want.
Sure.
How can you beat that?
Yeah.
Because you're getting it securely.
What do you think is the biggest problem with the app world right now? I mean, apps on the phones and apps on devices and apps everywhere you look, and there's just more and more and more apps that are coming out, and that is kind of like this big bubble that's happening. Ernest, you're shaking your head a lot over there. I mean,
It's hard because of the size. The devices only have so much room.
right.
That's the problem I'm running into, is that all of a sudden I got to delete apps because I don't have room for others. And then it's the balance of how much data you have to store on the phone.
Right.
So maybe that could be the next big break, is trying, somehow just condensing that data,
Condensing
compressing
it,
it,
yeah.
or something.
I think one of the biggest problems that I see in the app world today, just from a technology standpoint and a user, is there's so many. You have to go to 5 different apps to do, something that if it was all in one app, it would make a lot more sense. You do a OneNote, now you got to share that over with somebody else, and now you can't share that stuff. And then not only that, and as soon as somebody gets on your phone, now it's all available. How do you control who has access to that? And can you share it with other people? I mean, maybe you and I are doing business, and you're OneNoting stuff, and now how do you get that to me? So now you have to go to another tool. Now you have to go over here to this other one that allows you to do this, and then you have another one that maybe a bunch of people are using that you have to collaborate with. So, to me, that I think is the bigger. Right now, I think people are becoming overwhelmed with all of the apps that are out there. So that's where I think one of the bigger. I agree with you too, though. I think that there's a lot of problems with the apps right now. I think. As far as size or anything else, you get too much going on the processor. And the technology is evolving and keeping pace with it as far as the hardware goes. But that's not always going to be, you know, how far can you go with that, you know? So
Let's talk about
oh,
bonuses of platforms. Like,
bonuses, okay,
like just what does it give you?
right,
Like if you think about it, one of my favorite things is the ability for people to basically collaborate, work together.
yes,
That's the biggest change I've seen in the last 5 years.
absolutely.
Where it was like, ooh, I can connect with somebody. Now it's just pervasive, all
Yes.
day long. We use Link at work now, which at first I was like, really? And then we got it, and I love it.
Link to SQL? Or,
It's Microsoft's new communicator. It's their new tool.
yes, I have heard, yeah,
But this is a problem when you talk about platforms is if it was more of a cloud-based, non-proprietary, it would work everywhere. Or if it's, well, I can't even say that. Because most of the time when it doesn't work, it's because another customer has the Link software on their server and it can't communicate outside their firewall.
right,
And it's like, that's the problem that bothers me the most is where we have all these tools to collaborate and share and work together, be more efficient and connect. And then you run into these little problems. You're like, you're going against the grain. It should be out.
And that's, I think, the
Have it
biggest
out there,
problem,
then there's no problems for us connecting. You start to hold it behind your firewall, then you got to get all crazy with your rules,
yeah,
and your admins.
well, yeah, that's a job I'm glad I don't have. The security aspect of it is definitely a tremendous thing right now in the market as a whole. That is it's just something that has got to be resolved. And when we were out in California a couple of years ago, and that was one of the bigger questions that we were talking with a couple people, and just trying to figure out, was like, what is the best way to resolve the security issues that come with data sharing and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of different pieces there that I think that, you know, that start to tie into a lot more technical conversation, probably than we want to get in here. But, you know, there's definitely...
But one thing I'll interject is that's like the best part of that actually cloud-based platform is they're pushing off all those security worries.
Yeah.
Dude, you worry about it. You got to worry about the people coming in trying to get the data. I don't have to worry about it. I don't got to spend money, time, resources. I'm going to pay you to do it.
Right.
You know, that's what I love.
So when you start to think about IoT and how platforms can help solve problems in IoT and how fast IoT is moving right now, can platforms truly keep the pace with all of the advancements that IoT are making?
What's IoT?
Internet of Things? Can the platforms that are out there right now, can they keep pace with the evolution of IoT, the Internet of Things market? Because right now, you think about 3D printing, things that are communicating with the Internet, and how quickly devices are coming online. Yeah. Oh, no.
I don't think so. Maybe not the ones I'm exposed to. Well, they're open. That's the greatest part. I mean,
they're open, but you still have to go through the entire development process with a lot of these. Correct? I mean, you're adding in new devices, you're going to be tracking different pieces of information, or you know, they're going to communicate different ways. If you know, if my printer, for instance, Chuck was sharing with me today about the printer service he signed up with, that actually the printer will tell the company he signed up for a service when that printer run out of print or out of ink. So now, all of a sudden, that company just automatically knows this is you're going to run out of ink, so we're going to automatically send you the shipment. That's part of IoT. Milk in the fridge, all that type of stuff. I mean, there's so many things that are coming out there now, and we worked in it over at the company that we were talking about earlier with connectivity and Verizon devices and stuff like that. So
I think the technology can handle it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, just web services.
Right. It's all
Sending messages back and forth between different. That's the one thing. You know, most platforms deploy and so all that stuff. So all you have to do is send a message.
Right. Yep. Are you more of an XML guy or a JSON guy?
XML.
XML. Ernest. Ernest. Really? Wow.
Just used to it. That's all. JSON's easier.
Oh, of course. Yeah. It's lighter weight. It's lighter weight.
Yeah, it's available.
It's kind of like the old Microsoft, some of the old coding stuff. We had so much issue with the view states and all that, the size of the information that goes back to the client. And I mean, now you think about it with the devices, it has to be so lightweight.
Yeah,
And, so JSON is the easy answer. Yeah. Well, I heard somebody put it recently that JavaScript and JSON win. Yeah, that's how I was like, yeah, that's pretty much the truth. So
That's all you do all day, just programming.
JavaScript. Oh. So Chris will be doing some of the coding with Udicci. Pretty strong, getting a good strong feeling of that. Ernest is going to be jumping in and helping too. We'll get Ernest on camera sometime soon. Hopefully we didn't lose our stream because our production manager is not on his job. So, and you're with me. So I think, hey, we're going to go to commercial or what?
It's me, it's a maybe.
It's a maybe. He's not even paying attention. So. He wants us to keep talking. So okay, you said Clash of Clans? Okay, I think I've seen the commercial that I swear I had you pegged more for a Battlefield guy.
Oh, I'm a Call of Duty guy.
Call of Duty, okay. My stepson started playing the Battlefield, and I like watching him because I just think it's fun. But at the same time, I look at him like it's crazy what those games. I'm sorry. Jeez, he's 14. I was thinking your son was 11. It's probably not a gun.
I bought for my son because my wife's against the first shooters. She doesn't like them.
Yeah.
So I got him Plants vs. Zombies, which made a first
I've
person
heard
shooter.
about that one, yeah.
And that's a blast.
Yeah. Is your son into Minecraft?
Yes. We are both.
Really?
I like playing it with him. I'll build with him. Dude, it's electronic Legos.
Yeah, love that.
I cannot figure out the. I guess I'm not into that stuff because I always pick on them. I'm like, oh, great, you're playing with boxes again. I said, I'm just going to go down to McDonald's and get some French fry boxes for you. You didn't have to buy the game. So, but I know that there's a humongous following for that game. So
He keeps trying to get me to download a mod and install it on the computer, and I'm like, dude, I can't do that. I program all day, I can't install a mod, I don't know what's going on.
okay.
So if anybody out there knows how to install mods, I think you should write some comments at the bottom of the video with some links on how to install mods.
There you go. Somebody should, maybe you could learn how to do it and put a video up.
Well, the problem is, like anything that's free, it is oversaturated with bad links.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And terrible, you're like, don't click that.
Yeah.
So if you don't have as much experience on the web, you don't want your kid going around there. Yeah, don't click that.
My parents had that problem frequently.
Yeah.
Well, they're my 11-year-old nephews that love to just go out and play, and they don't get the fact that if they accidentally click this link, even though it's pretty, it may not be good for the
Install
computer.
software on your machine.
Yeah,
There you
exactly. Let's just change the registry over here.
Let me record all your keystrokes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send them back to me.
Yeah, thanks. So, hey Chuck, are we gonna go to commercial?
Oh, you want to go to a commercial?
Are we even still live? So we're gonna go to commercial now, and so that Chris can go eat because he said he was starving.
Yeah. I'm coming on money.
All right.
All right, there we go.
That was fun.
Are you guys live streaming?
Yeah.
I thought you had a meeting.
That's what I thought.
You're over there playing Sword.
No. Alright, we're back.
This is here?
Channel your
Yeah.
name.
We're not exactly back.
Did
We're over here.
Okay.
Oh,
Did
wait,
you-
wait, I'm gonna go this way, wait.
Yeah. I'm having
And-
I gotta-
a show on Facebook.
It's weird looking straight into the camera. Hi, we're
I
back.
don't know which, I don't know which,
You're on the right one,
how do you know?
because I'm looking at it on the TV.
Huh?
I'm looking at it on the monitor.
Right, but how do you know I've got the right, channel on?
Did you turn the channel off?
Well, of course I turned the channel off. You want people to hear everything. Oh, that's.
I'm stealing your papers.
Oh, that was easy. It's the one hanging from the ceiling.
Okay, yeah, it's the one hanging from the ceiling.
Okay, so now we'll come over here. All right, so you're carrying the show. You gonna come? No.
Oh,
The camera. Well, the camera does pick up that chair.
Nope.
No, not that one.
Huh?
Not that one.
Oh,
No, the
this
one-
is so cool. This is movie real.
Yeah, it's a movie room. We need to get a little thing. We need to get some sort of plastic or glass
Did
to
you
fit
happen
in
to
there.
check our stream?
That's hot.
No, I didn't. I'm pretty certain that we're good. So how was that? I mean, last I heard, you guys were saying like, yeah, I really like to play with JavaScript.
Yeah, that was a lot technical.
What's that?
Sorry for that.
That's good.
Well, that was just our color test. We're gonna.
Who did that?
I did.
That looks pretty good. I know artists in here that are selling work, and their stuff looks like that.
Did you check the
No.
stream?
Yeah, I do.
Did you
Why?
check the stream to make sure it was live?
No. Just assume it is. It's recorded. God, whatever. If
Okay.
It's not. It's not at this
not,
point.
okay.
Yeah, this was our color test.
Your colors, are your colors orange? Like, you have like an orange color, that's when you're.
Yeah,
orange dot.
the orange dot is really the element in our logo that we always play off of.
That
and
would
it's,
make a great accent wall color, is orange.
yeah, that's what I think this is going to be, is dominantly an orange.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
really.
This is going to go darker, and we don't quite know how we're going to transition over there yet, but this will be a darker one, almost a metallic brown kind of thing. And then we've got some build outs we want to do on here to kind of make it look cool, but
Yeah.
hopefully. And we got 2 weeks.
Hey,
We've got 2 weeks. That's
I'm
all.
still doing stuff, so, and I moved in August, so it takes, I think it's good to get in and let it dictate to you what you want. You don't really feel it till you're in here.
That's it.
And then, even if it's something you want to do, and you're like, oh, well, I want to do it, by the time it gets done, it's totally different, you're glad you waited.
Yeah.
Because it comes out better than what you could have
And
planned.
that is exactly, like, we came in and we're like, you know what, this place is just, we need to let it be a canvas. And every now and then we'd start to get all stressed out and we're like, oh, we gotta figure this out. And we're like, wait, we said that it was gonna be a canvas. Now I know that I want this done for grand opening, and I want that last wall. And I know a couple things that are gonna go up for Lexington Credit Union. We're gonna, start getting our producers their recognition that they need inside here. But those are things that are actually gonna help with our sound. Right, so it's kind of felt like those are construction-oriented things that are intentional. But I really do, like that wall here, I like, why?
I am so glad I don't have a place this big, I wouldn't sleep. I'd never sleep. All I'd be doing is just dreaming about these walls. I'd be dreaming, I wouldn't freaking sleep.
Well, that to me, that wall, like
Awesome.
why I want you kind of featured on that wall first, I think ultimately we need to do something super cool with that wall.
Why
And
don't you do you want to do, is it something that, because like what I did with my front wall is I did just like, very abstract, like bold kind of thing. So then whatever you put on, it really sticks out. If you want something like that, I can do that for you.
we'll have to figure it out. Like I said, over time, after your grand opening, whatnot, when we can,
I'm saying if it's something you want done before your grand opening, I
Oh,
can do
God,
it.
there's enough work between now and then.
I would do that for you. I mean, it wouldn't take, really, if you're just gonna do this part, all you do is just pick the colors, and that wouldn't take long at all, because I basically just go in and and just figure out, take like 3 colors, and you just, I just mix them together, and it wouldn't take, if you want it done before your grand, I mean, that would be
All right,
grand
well,
opening.
we can think about it. That'd be
Give
kind
it
of
to
cool.
you. I'm not gonna charge you.
No, I'm not there. We have wine.
So you think about, your
Yeah, we
colors,
definitely will.
whatever.
Down here, we really kind of changed up our plans, and I don't think that's going to be done, but what I want that to be down at the end, and I hate the term that I'm calling it right now, but I want to call it the hearth room. And what I really want it to be, I want it to be the comfortable room where women sit and have wine.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, and so I want to actually have, where that light is now behind this, I want to have barn doors, like, so we can kind of get that very
I like
wooden feel, right? And then we're trying to figure out if we can maybe get, not a sectional, but maybe a small or something sectional. We're going to build out on the walls, like some shutters, so that way behind it we can have our whiteboard, so when we're not in production over that side, that'll also be our work area where we can work with teams.
Oh, you're gonna get it together, because this place has it's just amazing, this space. I freaking love this space. It's perfect. It's perfect for what you guys do, and since it engages so many people.
And that's, and you get it, right? I mean, if we get this done, and
That's how your grand opening is gonna be packed. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Just, I'm gonna really get out there and let people know and just get out. And I know you guys know a ton of people and stuff. And that's when things pick up. And the weather won't. This weather's been so brutal that people are dying to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're dying to come out
Yep.
for spring. I mean,
And I think it's the right time. I mean, the whole night, as we said, it's a night of community growth, and that's truly what it is. And, pulling together a number of the other artists from here in the Hungerford, and to me, this building is a community,
Yes.
and that's what I want to look at this building as
It
a
is.
community.
It absolutely is.
And we're going to be promoting this building. This is going to be, in my estimation, the next Village Gate. It's going to be different. It's going to have its own heartbeat.
Yeah.
But
It's already better than Village Gate, and only because I know Village Gate.
And Village Gate is cool. It's got some great
cool,
jobs.
but
this is really
it's
comfortable and
very
social.
restricted. It's very, and that's what I like about here, because for all the people that are, going to be that way, it's got enough people who are like, I don't give a shit. I just want to do stuff. I just want to play. I want to be involved. I want to be in this creative community and be inspired. And that's what this place is.
That's what this place is.
That's what it is here. So.
And I'm hoping that, it's interesting, and it didn't even hit me until today. Like the name of our grand opening, it's called the Creative Entrepreneur. And I, in my head when I came up with that, I'm like, this is really because I want to highlight you. I want to highlight the people who are actually
I didn't
passionate.
even know I was being highlighted. I'm like, what the? You should have seen my reaction. I'm at work and I'm bored and I'm looking, I'm like, what the hell did they do? It's so weird because I'm like, if I'm in my own element, my space, and I'm doing my thing as far as pulling my work, I'm okay. But the minute it's something like that, like I get anxiety because I'm like, I'm not used to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a shock. And you're different because somebody did that to me, but I called her and told her to take my name off the flyer and wouldn't be participating. But I'm like, okay, those guys, okay. Because I was going to be here anyway, So, and that's why, like, even that night, well, before that, I put these up, but that night, I want to leave something on my door.
Yeah.
Saying, and I'm getting ready to do my door, so I'm getting ready to do them up and put them on there that, come down here, this is where it's going down.
And I think it'll be fun. Like, you're basically displaying your art. Like, this will just be a gallery night.
See, I do that because I talk to people around here too that I know, and a couple people that have moved in. I'm like, I take nights off and I really want to go see other people's stuff for support. And there's some who've never been to anybody else's studio now. And I'm like,
That's unfortunate.
how would you not want it? You're not the end all be all. You need to go around and you'll see some shit. Especially when it comes to art. Like, I see people that I'm in awe of in this building, So I think it's nice when you go around and, take some time off to really, but,
I think part
I'll
of
be here.
You're 100% correct. I think part of the problem we have is everybody thinks it's all First Friday, and we've got to get rid of that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
you're right about that.
I'm sitting here saying right now, the Hungerford is open Thursday nights from 6 to 9 o'clock. Every Thursday,
You're right.
at least we'll be here.
Yep.
And if we could just start getting some of the other artists to open up
And
that
that's
night.
what's happening. They're spending a lot of time, like, they want to build up second Saturdays. First of all, like I told them last time, look, we need more people. I'm like, first of all, 10 to 3 is never going to work for me.
No.
I work late, and all my friends are out till 4 o'clock, and the people I know, my clients, most of them are promoters. They're not getting out of bed till 4. So that's not gonna work for me. If you're gonna say second Saturdays, then leave it open all day, buy equipment, check with your studios, whatever have numbers. But that, it's gotta be during a certain time, no. You know, it's just like your grand opening. No, it doesn't have to be between, stop
No.
promoting, it's only between 6
That's
and
right,
9.
that's it. And, yeah.
If you
Like,
want to
we
have
can
your
go wherever
event
we
like I'm
want.
doing now, but my grand opening, I started it at 5, I had it,
Yep.
you know, until whenever. But this where it's got to be during the times they want, that's what's killing you right there.
Yeah.
This building is open.
Yes, it
So
is.
just
Yes,
check
it
the.
And it needs, that's it. I walk around through the day and I'm sitting here going, what, why? Like, why are these places not open?
Trust me, if I didn't have to work a full-time job, you would have to like push me out of this building. I would be here
Oh.
24/7 if I didn't have
Is
to
that
work.
right? Are you jealous because this is our full-time?
What?
Are you
Am
jealous?
I'm jealous of anyone that can be here whenever they want. Because those hours are my most creative in the morning. So I sit at work like, oh shit.
You know what's really funny, because it is, it's like Tess now has come during the day once, we sat and we can talk, right? Allie comes all the time, and you know, we're creating a great relationship next door, and that's just it. There's so few that are here all
Don't worry,
day.
I
We're all
get you
sitting-
vacation time in June. I'll be.
And it was fun, though, like, because I'm sitting here, like, he doesn't get here until like 2 most days, and I'm sitting here like, oh, do I hold out for lunch, right? Because I want to eat, and I want to, you know. And if somebody came in for lunch, oh, let's eat, right?
See, that's.
We cook still in back. You know, we still have all this stuff going on. So.
That's why I'm working so hard, because I'm hoping that one day, not too far off, I can be here full time. This is what I want. I don't want, you know, my job, I'm thankful, Lord,
Yes.
for it, but it's not where I want to be. I just,
Gotta find that passion spot.
because at work I'm miserable and I snap at people all day.
Don't be miserable. You can't possibly be miserable.
Oh my God, ask my coworkers. They come here and they're like, oh my God, you are like a completely different person. They're like, you are so different. I'm like, told you.
So now, this whole time we've been talking, you were completely comfortable,
Yeah, because I'm not on camera.
or so you thought.
No.
That's a direct feed from our camera. The actual one streaming out is pointing straight at you. It's that one over there.
Don't do that to me. Oh,
No, you know what? We are trying. I do want to figure out, and we can sort of. We can start switching our cameras from here. And by the
She's sweating.
Wow.
Look at the glue.
But, so anyway, so tonight, okay, so we did hear from Julio and Tag, and they said next week, Real Talk 360 returns.
So it hasn't returned yet?
Right, now I want to let you know that last week they said next week Real Talk 360 returns. And you know, I'd love to blame Tag for this, but we will. Let's blame Tag. Let's blame Tag for the fact that it's not here tonight. All right, Emilio, we let you off the hook. It's really not you. It's Tag. We know that, so that's kind of fun. But next week they're supposed to be back.
April 3rd. April 3rd. We got to talk about this. We got to talk about the grand opening. We got to talk about Riot. We got to talk
There was
about
like 3 things that we're supposed to talk about tonight that we can kind of still get to and go on to. We're going to start another show. It's going to be under the Afternoon Cocktail moniker from last year with Amanda Ashley. Shout out to Amanda, who's down in Memphis right now
Yeah, I
doing
saw
her
her
tour.
pics. That girl is blazing.
She is a
She is
worker,
amazing.
right? That
She
girl
is amazing.
knows how to work.
I
She's
think
talented.
That is just, I love that, especially to see young women just
Yes.
pursuing that. That
Yes,
is just
yes.
so, you know, and that's how I feel like my daughter's at a conference in New York right now, a big media journalism conference, and I love that.
That's great.
I love that for my daughter, for my nieces. I love to see what these young women are doing today. They are just, they're going for it, and I can.
Well, so so we'll come back there in a second. So under the Afternoon Cocktail, right? Because Amanda's definitely going to be here and there throughout the rest of this year. But you know, when she gets back, she's going to be on more often. But we're actually starting a Beyond the Lyric with Jerry Falzone. You know, Jerry actually has produced a couple different sort of events in town. But one of them was years ago on, I think it was XXI. It was called Beyond the Lyric. And he actually would sit down with the local musicians and they kind of explore music from a very different perspective. So when you were talking about how today that it's the life of the legend, not necessarily the
Yeah.
stardom
Yeah.
of the legend, I would say that in many ways that's how Jerry sort of approaches the musical side. And so it's kind of a cool thing. He's, I don't know exactly when we'll start, but he'll be here in the next couple of weeks. We plan, that's going to be a new series we're going to begin doing. We're trying to figure out if we want to do those on Thursday nights after Real Talk. We want to just start doing Friday night type thing. So that'll be cool. So we kick off the first musical series with David Michael Miller, and we'll be adding a few other musical things. We're still working on a project with Jesse Sprinkle, where it'll be another, we're actually in the midst of producing a song, and for the brand, and we want to actually have the audience be able to watch what it looks like to produce a song. Now we're going to just kind of review it here, and then he's going to go back and produce it and bring back something new. So we're going to be actually seeing the art of music, if you will, in development this year. So there's some fun stuff that are projects that are coming up. What else?
5 minutes of fame.
5 minutes of fame on
April
Grand.
3rd.
On April,
That's
So
going to be at your grand opening?
Yeah,
That's
from
the grand opening.
4:30 to 5:30, or
From 4 o'clock to 5
Oh,
o'clock.
I think
we're
I
gonna
got
have-
somebody perfect for you guys too. I'm gonna talk to him tonight, actually. I'm gonna hit him up. Would you guys be interested in, on DKX, DJ Wiz, who is the DJ there, who's been in the game for a long time, but he's also coming up in 2 movies that he's been out in Hollywood. He's pursuing acting, that he's been, there's trailers, there's clips of it and everything on YouTube
nice.
and stuff.
If you will, right?
Yeah.
That's like your
I
creative
never thought.
passion.
And he's perfect.
That
He's
is-
got that, that aura in front of the camera and everything. And
Absolutely.
he's very popular these days, very well.
Absolutely. If you that's perfect, right? That's it. Here's a guy who's making his profession out of his passion, or his passion is his profession, which is exactly where you want to get to. And that's the whole thing about that night, is we want to say it is possible for you to do that. Now, what's really funny is like the whole time, and I'll come back to the creative entrepreneur for a second. I'm sitting here like doing all this stuff today. I'm like, oh wait, we're kind of creative entrepreneurs, aren't we?
I think so.
I never really kind of came across that way, because last week I was saying something like, well, I'm not really creative, and someone was like, huh?
I know.
But
You guys have to be creative.
but it's not in the way most people think, right?
But I think that, because I'm an artist, it's just like I see a carpenter, and I think they're the most artistic people in the world because they build. I think when you build and you think and you put it out, it manifests. I think in any of those ways it's creative.
And that's what I want people to hear. You just nailed it. It's like the creative entrepreneur, pretty much to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to be creative, because you see something before anybody else sees it.
Exactly.
Then you have to go about making it real
Yeah.
when still nobody else can see it.
Yep, exactly.
And,
Right.
and that's kind of that message that night, and wrapped up in everybody else's words.
Yeah.
But that's a piece. But the 5 minutes of fame, that's basically what we're going to do, is just take as many entrepreneurs. If we get too many, we'll start earlier. I said like 7, and we're going to do like 20 minutes with Joey and Johnny, because that's kind of the featured story for the night. But if we get 10, whatever it is, we'll just back up that street. We'll start at 5:30, because I left an hour between the community networking and that for that exact thing.
Yep.
Because I figured the community networking, I really want it to be that. We're going to have unfortunately, Chuck Castelli, the CEO of Lexington, is going to be in Florida that week, but we will have Lexington represented. I have some invites out to some people in the city, the economic development pieces. We've got the other gentleman we met with yesterday. So we've got a lot of business side to come in and start, that networking, and then we can get into the production side, later on that night.
Right. So we got to talk about Saturday too.
Saturday.
Riot planning. We need people involved, or we would like to get people involved. Anybody that wants to come out. We're going to be teaching. We're going to be actually starting to plan a game that we're going to be doing on the Google Ouya platform,
You
gaming
guys are
platform.
talking like straight time.
Well, I never even heard of Ouya, right? Xbox. You know what Xbox
You
is?
said it's Julio?
Ouya.
Right, it's Ouya.
It's a gaming
Whoever,
system.
Ouya, right? The Xbox. Who makes an Xbox?
I don't know. My son has one of
It's
that.
Microsoft, right? Microsoft.
I didn't
Then you
know
got Sony PlayStation. Doesn't it make sense that Google would have a PlayStation?
Yeah. So
It's
that's
Ouya.
weird.
Yes.
Nobody knows about Ouya, right? And it is. It's this little like $90 gaming platform that allows you to play the Android apps on your television. That's all it really is.
I know nothing about, I've
Yeah.
never once played a game.
Right.
I know nothing about it. So.
Yeah, we don't know anything about gaming development, nothing at all.
Yeah.
So what
We know some people.
we know some people. We know some people. You know, we know a guy who knows a guy.
That's some connection.
We know the guy. We know the guy. His name is Ulysses. So what we're gonna try doing on Saturday morning. Saturday mornings, which we're hitting second Saturdays, but we're also gonna add another Saturday to it. Is our riot. It's Riot for Good, and we're gonna be getting at 9 o'clock, I think.
9
I'll get
12.
Yeah, I'll get the first morning stuff is gonna be geared toward kids. Your Saturday morning cartoons, right? So we're gonna try to do that here. Part of the entire year is to be planning a game, right, that we could then roll out on the Udicci platform. But it's going to be very, very simple. And we're going to just kind of use our stick figure. And we're going to do things like, just have to walk across the thing, meet somebody and say hello. Hello world, right? In programming, the most basic thing you do is you go hello world. So we'll just do something silly like stick figure has to walk over and say hello world and meet something simple. And we've got some people from our IT who said that they'd help us develop it.
Wow.
And we want the kids to be involved in the development of that
Are
game.
you looking for little kids?
Probably going to be somebody who's a little bit more logical in thinking. As
My son
probably
is
10,
17 years old, he's a game.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
good.
I was going to say, I think the low end is going to be like 10, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there could be, because they can have fun talking about the game, and we can kind of go
My
from there.
son's the kind of guy who'll play, will let you know, he just, that's the rules.
And that's going to be done with Christopher Williams. Do you remember Chris from last year? Owns Gamers Nostalgia over on, what is that, Culverwin?
Oh,
What is that?
I don't know if I've ever met him, but I think I've seen him on Facebook.
So he owns Gamers Nostalgia, so
We
that's
gotta get the
cool.
address so we can.
We'll get that. So that's going to be a Saturday thing, but also on our Saturdays, we're going to try to do like an afternoon thing where we want to start highlighting the Finger Lakes and what's going on and all kind of the good stuff. So that's going to be our out and about in Finger Lakes.
And then we're going to be transferring it from not only the Saturdays into a monthly series for Riot, which stands for Rochester Internet of Things, in case you've been following the story. And what we're doing is we're actually going to try to, it's our goal actually, to put Rochester on the map as one of the innovative areas or regions of the country for the Internet of Things market.
So, if you will, and follow me with this, right?
I'm just tripping because he's looking there. Are you guys really on?
Yeah.
I'm like, why is he looking at the
We have
Because I don't do it enough.
lost the radar.
I hate my voice worse than the way I look.
Oh,
my God.
all right, that's it. I've had about enough of you putting yourself down. Go to your room and sit on that chair. That yellow striped blue thing there.
Okay.
We have
Oh,
we have
my
all
goodness.
of probably about one watcher. So.
Yeah, one watcher right now. Although last week we had 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually it's fun. We're actually getting some decent
Views.
Watch it be like my ex-boyfriend who hates me and talks shit about me. And he's just,
Let him talk crap about you because you know what?
that's why I left her.
We wield the camera, the mighty camera. So there was the Riot thing, the monthly thing, which we're going to have that's just going to be a networking thing once a month.
Right.
That's going to be largely geared toward the technology community, and once a month we're going to hold a little networking event here.
And we're going to stream live about technology and the Internet of Things market and some of the things that are coming out. So we'll have discussions about that.
And the other,
how they can help.
let's say, unsigned things, right? These are the unofficial.
You guys are the official, the world's most creative people officially now. After hearing all this, you guys are.
No. So we have some fun stuff. Ready for this? Now, this is fun stuff. Again, unofficial, unsigned, but it does look like some of the community channels, particularly the Finger Lakes community channel, Channel 12, maybe picking up some of this content. So we'll actually be out now on the cable networks.
Sure you don't want to come on?
And as of yet, and we can't really say who it is, but for those in-house if you recognize brands, and you may not, huh?
I am a brand recognizer.
Okay, imagine that this is red, and it's supposed to be. So if you can.
Yeah, I'm not recognizing.
All right, so you can't say anyway.
Rihanna?
No. It's a it's unofficial.
It's unofficial, but
So
it's
we can't.
big.
Yeah.
It's a national.
An international insurance company. So if that helps you on the putting that in perspective, what that is, we'll tell you offline. Has verbally agreed to deploy a solution on Udicci. So
You guys
those are fun stuff.
Soar.
Only with your help. That's why we need to tell more people about you. You know, more people listen to you than they listen to us. We just
That's hilarious. My kids, people at work, my boss. Yeah, where are all these people that listen to me?
I am okay. So you know what? You know what? And we still are. We're still so far. All right.
Let's see, 13.
Just for the fun of it,
We can do 10 more minutes.
we'll do 10 more minutes, and we're gonna do this one thing. We're gonna change subjects. Oh, by the way, we're gonna add like game show stuff to this.
Oh.
Now. We'll do in-house games, out-house area, and what like I'm thinking is, we should just start out in the studio, inside here, and we should get gift certificates, giveaways from people in the Hungerford.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to come get your gift certificate from here to pick it up,
Yeah.
and then on first Friday, we should make a game out of it. But we'll just start doing silly games,
That
share it
would be
online,
cool.
see who wins, right?
Yeah.
It'll give people a reason to tune in. So
And
that's
you can have Tag as the host.
right?
Like Steve Harvey or something.
I think it'd be fun, actually, and so it would be fun, right? We could actually do these kind of things,
Actually,
bid it up or
yeah.
something.
As
We
long
should
as
be
he
able to
doesn't
say-
ask women how old they are.
Yeah, right.
No,
You
how
can't
Dictate the
tell
rules.
us Tag to not do something.
You have to tell them that, yeah, you can't.
Tag, don't do, there he goes.
Yeah.
There he goes, he's on his way.
I wish
Yeah.
I'd known that before.
You know the great thing I know, here's the thing I know about Tag, is he's not watching. So we can say anything we want about Tag right now, and next week we'll be like, oh
I'm
my
not
God,
saying nothing.
you should have heard what Narita said. He'll go nuts, he'll still never go back and watch it. And we'll just keep playing this up for the next 15 years.
I love you, Tag. I do not want Tag coming after me.
I cannot believe you're holding up that sign about it. What are you?
What?
Oh, now pretend you're not holding up a sign.
Wait a minute, let me get a picture.
Hold on, now she hides it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
they're joking, Tag. It's not true.
So yesterday, and I'm going to completely change the subject. We're going to have a little fun at Tim's prompting here. So, ready? Think of a technology advancement, right, that has had, what do we say, the most impact on society. Detrimental. Okay, detrimental.
Detrimental impact?
Detrimental
on
impact on society.
Since when? Just ever?
Ever. Like, we started going through
It has
fire,
to be,
right? Like, you know.
it has to be online access on cell phone.
Oh, that's interesting.
For me.
All right.
That's
That's
right.
how I feel, because when it was just you limited to your computers or laptops, people would have to be home, or a lot of people wouldn't have them, or they just get on, do work, do a little stuff. But now the fact that you've got it on this phone, it's 24/7. Everybody's got a cell phone. Every kid's got a cell phone. Every elderly, everybody's got a cell phone, and they've got cameras on, so there's no waiting anymore. It's like, yo, I'm going to do this. Nobody's going to see me. Nobody's going to know. I'm not tied to a computer at a place with it. I don't know. Do phones have IP addresses?
Yeah.
They are traceable? Okay,
Yep.
I didn't know that. But there's so many billions of phones. I mean, come on, how are you going to find this
So
and that?
whatever we call, let's label that constant connection.
Right.
Because understand the
Yeah,
multiple.
constant
It's
connection.
constant connection. And what did you
Well,
did
this
you-
actually didn't actually start with that particular question, but how it came about is I was talking with a friend about social media as a whole.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how social media is really impacting people in such a negative way. And then when you look at Facebook and they're altering the they're altering the algorithms to show you only content that's negative to see how it's going to impact you. And now they're toying with your emotion. And then you have all these people, and you look at a Facebook wall any day now. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of negativity and the amount of bashing and all of this
disturbing images.
Yes.
That was the point my wife made yesterday, and she's absolutely right. Like, you cannot go online without seeing some sort of porn.
It's
And
disgusting.
it's not like everything's
Disgusting.
porn, and I know now the conservative me is coming out, but it's like, you're like, you go to read an article, and everybody sees those, those 9 things at the bottom that are headlines, and it's like, save 19% on your insurance now, and it's some woman with her breast hanging out, like, they're covered, so it's not porn. But come on!
But we just live in a world, there are no boundaries anymore.
There's no boundaries.
Right.
There's no boundaries. We live in a world now where it's like, freedom of speech, take this out, separate church and state, everything like that. So now everybody's like, we're living in, I remember when the me generation started, that whole me thing, like Saturday Night Live, just say the me generation. Now it's just, it's more me and I than ever. It's like, do what you want, go for it, which is one reason why I'm, when I do what I do as far as the images that I portray, because everybody now wants this, social media has created a thing where everybody wants to be a celebrity, or everybody thinks they're a celebrity. I mean, it gets to the point where you go to an event, and I'm like, God, these people act like I should know them or ask for their autograph.
That's right.
Yep.
That's the feeling I get when I go in places. And it's like, you look at that, but you realize, that's why I always say when I look at that, and I look at the people with that, do you really know what you are asking to have when you want that? Because it's not what you think it is. And the people that want it, it's like, what do you want it for? Because social media has made it that if you act like a fool, if you totally over-sexualize yourself, if you're just completely perverted and disgusting, and you let us film it, every dirty part of your life, you will be famous.
Oh.
You will be huge. You will get that.
Oh, please.
And that's what the world is right now. So social media is not going anywhere. This dude here.
Let your voice be heard.
I mean, it's just, you're right. That is the most detrimental.
So it's the constant connect, I think, is it. But social media has definitely had an issue. But in social media, it's funny because I absolutely believe 100% that it can change the world. I believe it already has changed the world. I think we can capitalize on it for good, and that's exactly what we're working toward. But I thought his friend's answer was just like, okay, let's think about this one for a while.
So, yeah, when I was talking to her and we were talking about all this, she goes, well, I think it's electricity.
They're like, but there's something that when
There's something to it.
So think about, right? Because I had the same kind of reaction you did. I'm like, electricity? I went back to fire. I'm like, was fire a bad thing? No. We all got warm around the fire. We came together as community, right? And we're all working together. Oh, you got a fire? You go get some wood. I'll chop the wood. You keep the fire going. We're all warm. We cook over the fire. We get community going, right? And then once you have electricity, you can separate community.
Yeah.
Power is distributed out elsewhere, so people don't have to be together. So I was like, well, that's an interesting thought then.
But I think that, honestly, with anything, any new development or anything like that, whether it's technology or something like you're talking about, electricity, fire, whatever, if you go back to the beginning of time, it's man's use of what is done with these new things, because they are for good, but we are not. I don't believe man is innately good.
Right.
So it's the destruction that it's what we power these things to do. It's like the bitter with the sweet. I mean, it's like cocaine. Cocaine, if you're using it lidocaine or benzocaine or whatever to help us, or marijuana to help them, but you're going to have people that are going to abuse that and become drug addicts or sell that to people who have problems and everything. It is, I just believe, from what I believe, what God puts here for good, man destroys it. We're always gonna have an element of man that is gonna destroy what's to better us.
And the funny thing is,
That's what
the
it
only thing that's really, you cannot have an excess, and has not hurt mankind in any way, is pizza.
I thought I was gonna say love. Oh, pizza can hurt. Because
Pizza cannot hurt. Now, okay.
I've eaten a lot of it over the past 4 months, and it's hurting. So don't tell me pizza can't hurt.
Pizza is the
Pizza's
nearest perfect thing.
No, it's
that's
not.
okay. Well, that certainly cannot come near.
Jeans, denim jeans. That's what I go for.
Denim jeans
Yes.
ruin the world?
No, I'm saying that's the most near perfect thing if you're going to pick a tangible.
How about eating pizza while wearing denim jeans?
No.
That's,
No.
you,
Because then you eat too much and you can't fit the jeans.
Or what happens like when it falls on your jeans? See, that's okay though, because stained denim jeans are actually okay.
Yeah, I don't like stained jeans. I paint stained, but not stains from grease and food.
It just shows you're a pizza maker.
That shows you're a slob.
So the artist is better than the pizza maker. I got you now. I see how this works.
I'm done. I'm not coming.
So what did
I shall not.
What did you come up with for the technological advancement that had the most
I
deficit?
said social media.
You said social media.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the. I don't know. I couldn't really.
You said the wheel earlier, but
I said the wheel. I said the wheel. It's like that was detrimental because it got people moving. And if it wasn't ever for the wheel, we wouldn't have any problems with texting and driving.
Right.
But because
He wants to go back to square.
go back to square. It slowed everything down.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Apple, then we can go back and then look
There
at
you go.
Ah,
Now you got the answer. There
And
we
it
go.
all comes with the Apple. So, I mean,
So it's all the Apple's fault.
it's the Apple's fault.
It's Apple's fault. That's right.
It's Apple's fault.
All right, well, let's go ahead and shut down tonight, and
We
we will
probably
be
not
back
live at this
here.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we
don't
don't
even know what's going on.
Yeah, we have no
recording,
idea.
We're good.
It's over there.
It's over there, and for those of you that tuned in, we really appreciate it. Hi, Mom. And, and we'll be back here next week, and the week after that, and the week after that,
It's
and the
grand
week
opening.
after that. Oh, yeah. It's actually
April 3rd.
the next few weeks. It's going to get real, and honestly, we really, please come out. Start to understand what's
This
going
is
on
just
down here.
the beginning.
Yeah, just start to understand what's really happening down here. Come out once a month, make it a point just to come hang out, get to know what's going on in the community, share with us what you're passionate about, get it out there. Come out once a quarter. Make it a point just to say, I'm going to get out and do something different for my community. I'm going to introduce myself to something completely unique. Come on out here. You're welcome every single Thursday. We are here. And we'll be going for
We're still streaming.
We got a thumbs up from Tim that we're still streaming, so that means we should end the stream now. Thanks for tuning in to Udicci.TV tonight, and we will see you next week.
Yep.